really do.
It would have been easier than 10 acres that you have. So today we are talking about this very strange process in Ghana. It seems that for so many people, there's steps you follow to acquire land. 1, identify land. 2, identify owner. 3, pay for land. 4, discover you haven't paid the owner. 5, go to court. 6, pay
land.
another owner. 7, possibly get land.
It's interesting we are talking about this one because only yesterday I was talking about this with a friend. We're talking about how high the cost of rent is and how we need to build. And then this issue came up. Now it's even difficult to acquire land. I mean, you're uncertain even if you pay for land whether they're going to have it at the end of the day. And so it's something that bothers a lot of people who want to own homes.
And there are so many examples of it. Chances are anyone who has ever attempted or is currently in possession of land in this country has had this experience.
Yeah.
It's become the norm. That is shocking. That the norm is not that you go through the process and have no issues and buy your land. The norm is that you have a problem.
And we always talk about, closing the housing deficit and ensuring that people, but the processes are difficult and cumbersome.
And I mean, I don't know how to say this. Okay, I'm saying it respectfully. So I would like it to be known that I say this with all respect. In spite of all the respect I have for them, chiefs are far too often embroiled in these disputes.
That's true.
Far too often.
That's true.
Stool land is far too often at the center of this litigation that we are now seeing as the norm. And you're fine.
It's not right. It's not right.
Charlie. Of all the groups of people in society,
are we having the lands
commission by this? Well, we're having Ghana's leading expert on land.
All
I
right.
think it's fair to describe lawyer Kwame Jan as such.
Okay.
I mean, he wrote the book on it, literally. So and we also have a lawyer who has had so much experience dealing with land issues in court, and that's lawyer Martin Pebu. So today we're going to learn, and we're going to hear about some of the tricks. That's the interesting thing. You want to be able to spot these things a mile away so you don't walk into them. So stay tuned. Today you hear some of the tricks that people use to swindle you out of your hard-earned money when it comes to purchasing land. So stay tuned for that. First, let's give thanks to Total Petroleum. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, help you find a way to get things done. Ghana Pay, your money your way. And Sanlam, live with confidence. We're grateful to them. For the 6 a.m. news and for the joint business report, it's Carl Bank Forward Together, Glyco Life Travel Insurance, Glyco, we cushion you for life, who brought that to us. Carl Bank continues to remind you to forget a cash. Ironic, remind you to forget. Yeah, and because a life beyond cash is what you need to be living right now. Get yourself Carl Bank Visa, MasterCard, or GH Link card so you can shop online, in-store, travel, do all the things that you've always wanted to do. Also, the Carl Bank app will help you shop and pay for a variety of virtual shops on the app. CalNet Solutions will help you and your business perform all your transactions and your regulatory payments to government with the Ghana.gov platform. So listen, shopping, transferring funds, traveling, whatever you're doing, do it with Carl Bank. Get up to 20% discounts from lots and lots of partners when you pay using their channels. If you want to know about these partners, call 0800 500 500. Chat with them online, on social media, and on WhatsApp, or just email customercare@carlbank.net. You can also visit carlbank.net to know more about their discount partners. Forget a cash, simply go digital with Carl Bank Forward Together.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, Cocoa Board, Cocoa Syndicator loan signing for 2022-2023 crop season rescheduled for tomorrow. We have details. Also, commercial banks welcome moves by Bank of Ghana to deny individuals access to future credit for deliberately refusing to repay their loans through mobile money platforms. And day 4 of the negotiations with the IMF, Joy Business is learning the team has been focusing on economic data update before real negotiations begin. We have details coming up. My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Thanks for being with us this morning. The Cocoa Board Cocoa Syndicator loan agreement signing is now expected to be done tomorrow through to the weekend. However, Joy Business is learning that it will not be marked with the usual fanfare. Sources say the signing will be done virtually by the participating banks, with the process being finalized by the weekend. Cocoa Board is hoping to raise up to $1.3 billion from the participating banks. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is optimistic about how inflows from the loan syndication program will aid in recovery of the economy.
The traditional cocoa syndication loan expected in the last quarter of 2022, which will promote the cocoa sector, will further help us build our foreign exchange reserves and provide a strong buffer for the cedi in the last quarter of the year.
You had the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. While still on cocoa, farmers in Jampokurom in Sehi Jobosu district in the Western North region have warned that farmers may be forced to smuggle their cocoa produce to Ivory Coast if the government fails to increase production price for this year. A bag of cocoa currently sells at 660 cedis. However, the farmers want a review of the price of 1,200 cedis from the government. According to the farmers, they are not spared the current economic situation. They add that the cost of farm inputs, laborers and other services have increased astronomically. They appeal to government to adjust the price or else sell their cocoa to Ivory Coast.
Cocoa no a cost of yes, ye ben border. This a bass, a bayan to man cobe 1,002 and 1,003 beyond wire there. And no cra, yes, ye beswadia.
We are close to the border. We are gathering that the producer price of cocoa has increased in neighboring country Cote d'Ivoire. If the government wants to prevent smuggling of cocoa to Cote d'Ivoire, then the government must increase the producer price of cocoa for farmers in Ghana to about 1,200 cedis or 1,300 cedis.
Meanwhile, President of the Coalition for Cocoa Sector Reforms, Thomas Kwesi Sikuma, has called on government to take a critical look at the situation of the farmers as they continue to live in extreme poverty. Let's turn to day 4 of the IMF engagement with the government of Ghana. And Joy Business is learning that the visiting IMF team has been focusing on updating the country's economic data since they got to town on Monday. But why is data still taking a better part of their time before commencement of negotiations? George Afe has more.
Joy Business is learning that the move has been influenced by the fact that at their last visit, the data gathered was for the ending of the second quarter of this year. Therefore, the team is not using the first part of their engagement to get the latest numbers coming from official government sources and institutions about the economy. The IMF has maintained that for them, everything is about data when it comes to putting together an economic program for a country. This is because any proposals that they will put forward aimed at turning around the economy will be based on data. The interaction has been described by some as very deep, as separate teams are engaging other institutions that matters on this data update exercise. Sources say after this data update exercise, the team is expected to move to what can be described as preliminary program discussions, which will continue during the annual meetings in Washington, D.C., USA. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has indicated that government is working hard to ensure that they are able to close the program by November this year. However, sources say that deadline might be difficult. Meanwhile, the code name for the document that would guide Ghana's negotiations with the IMF for a program has been changed from Enhanced Domestic Program to Comprehensive Post-COVID-19 Economic Program.
George Afe with that report. We had the finance minister mention yesterday that there has been no agreement on any debt operation. Meantime, a financial expert, Dr. Williams Pipra, tells Joy Business that debt sustainability analysis may thoroughly review the country's Eurobonds, local bonds, debt of state-owned enterprises, government guaranteed debts and arrears. He believes short-term securities such as treasury bills will not be affected to reduce the impact on holders or investors.
There is a high probability that IMF will be swapping those due euro bonds within their 3 billion facility by giving Ghana money to pay them off anytime they are due. This action of IMF will reduce interest payment of Ghana euro bonds and provide liquidity to support our balance of payment. The conditionality in a way of providing a debt sustainability will be in the payment in arrears to credit suppliers, statutory payment, which may be asked to take a haircut. The local banks who have funded these credit suppliers will also be receiving support, liquidity support from the central bank.
You had Dr. Williams Pepra, who is Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University in the U.S. Now, the Registrar of Companies, Jemima Oware, has given a directive to all companies to change their auditors who have served for more than 6 years. The directive, which was supposed to be enforced by end of August, has now been extended to December 2022, following considerations by the Registrar. Here's more in this report.
The Office of the Registrar of Companies notified the general public that all companies were required to comply with the rotation of auditors as provided by Section 139 of the Companies Act 2019. The Act states that an auditor shall hold office for a term of not more than 6 years and is eligible for appointment after a cooling-off period of not less than 6 years, except for companies formed for special purposes like banking and insurance or any other businesses which are subject to special regulation such as the Securities and Exchange Act, and where auditor rotation was specifically provided for. All other companies were to comply with the law or face sanctions. According to the registrar, all affected companies which have not yet complied with this requirement should do so by 31st December 2022, after which the sanctions spelled out under the law shall be applied. The company and an officer of the company that is liable will each pay an administrative penalty of 250 penalty units to the Registrar of Companies.
Well, next, commercial banks have thrown their weight behind moves by the Bank of Ghana to deny individuals access to future credit facilities for deliberately refusing to register their SIM cards under the ongoing National SIM Card Registration exercise with the intention of avoiding repayment of loans through mobile money platforms. The central bank, in a statement, indicated that data of all mobile money loan customers are domiciled in a database of credit bureaus, hence failure to repay such loans will attract negative repercussions on borrowers' credit. Philip Oredo is Managing Director of Cowbank PLC.
I think it's a good call from the central bank because it's about time we sort of institute some sort of rights credit culture within the economy that we have. We always keep talking about bank credit facilities, the cost of credit being high, and one of the reasons underpinning this is a level of non-performing loans within the sector, the financial service sector, and we see this seeping through to the micro sector in terms of people taking credits through the Momo transaction. So if it's a measure the central bank is putting up to enhance the credit culture within the economy, then I think it's a right call for them to do.
Managing Director of Cowbank PLC, Philip Oredu. Now, the Ghana Tourism Authority has debunked claims that disbursement of the $10 million grant for small and medium enterprises is done on political grounds. This comes after some businesses within the tourism space accused the authority of engaging in politicking in the disbursement. According to Chief Executive of the Tourism Authority, Akwesi Ajiman, criteria for disbursement is transparent.
We have one of the leading financial institutions, MD, as a member of the committee. We have two operators, the president of the Hotels Association as a member, and the president of the Tour Operators Union of Ghana as a member. So I don't know how else anybody can influence decisions, but it's fine for people to sometimes try and play politics with these things. For me, the focus is people who are applying Ghanaians. Do they have a legitimate business? Is the business going to impact the industry? I mean, if you go to, for example, Bisa Brewer Museum, it's one of the beneficiaries of the grant the first time.
And that was Akwesi Ajiman, who is Chief Executive of the Ghana Tourism Authority. Let's check the markets as we wrap up this morning. Beginning with the currency market, the dollar going for 10 cedis 34 pesos, the British pound selling at 11 cedis 23 pesos, and the euro trading at 9 cedis 88 pesos. Also on the commodity market, crude oil selling at $88.93 a barrel. The precious metal gold lost almost $11 to open trading at $1,649 an ounce, and cocoa trading this morning at $2,282 a ton after losing $4 from yesterday's trading. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. That's it. The Super Morning Show continues, and here is Kojo Yankson with more. Kojo.
Charlie, so it's not yet payday.
Are you that broke? Okay, of course,
Yeah.
you bought a new phone this month, so.
Oh. But you have turned this one into propaganda. I'm just generally.
Oh, but it's the
I'm broke.
29th. It's the 29th.
Yeah.
So you should
Charlie,
see
I'm feeling the pinch.
Yeah. You should see your money.
I'm a hustler. Oh.
Yeah, no, a hustler, please.
Yeah. Listen, anytime you start
nobody is going to believe that.
Anytime you start to deceive yourself, remember this. Remember, you know a hustler. His name is Kojo the Morning Man. His pocket is empty, crack. He's very hungry. Make count I swear on my life. I can't wait for payday.
Oh, Charlie. But 29th, so I'm sure by now the money should have hit your account.
Yeah. I doubt it.
Latest.
Anyway. Speaking of Kojo the hustler, Black Sheriff has a new song.
Oh, yes, and everybody